Why, hello there, lovely listeners and viewers. You are back down the red rabbit hole, and do we have a weird warrant for you today? And
I mean,
yes, oh, Lisa's already started. Go on.
sorry, I was going to say, do you intend to make them jump? Because that's what the intros do to
Oh,
me. Hello!
whoa!
It's like a little secret
Like
jump scare that you just kind of throw into the episode.
it's my Jack in the Box opening.
It is.
Oh,
Hello!
it's partly because I just suddenly realise I'm on. So I'm, oh.
Yeah, yeah.
But viewers and listeners, we are down a weird warren today. And of course, I am always NV Peacock, otherwise known as Nikki, your best-selling thriller author host. And with me is my co-host, Lisa Shepherd. Lisa, therapist, comedian, runner, author, abductor, and many, many other things. Lisa?
Although this week I haven't abducted anyone.
No, you
So,
a bit lax there, aren't you?
yeah.
You've got me.
You had one job, Lisa. One job.
One job. Where's your sack?
And you didn't do it this week. No, I haven't abducted anyone this week.
You've
I
been
could
running
claim
really
I've got
fast,
some sort
though.
of running injury of some kind.
But
Not really. I'm not very fast. It's
you
just
are.
authors are as a rule quite slow. I
Well, yeah,
mean,
too busy.
we can put that as a little call out to any kind of sporty authors who are
Slow authors
currently
wanted.
working on their books, and they're going to go, "Hang on, love, I'll give you a run for your money."
Slow authors wanted. Where are you?
Yeah.
They're all down the bar.
Yeah, yeah, they're all
Shocking.
at the yeah. Easier to catch when they're drunk as well.
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of sway around a little bit.
They do. They practically jump in the sack because they don't want to have
Yeah,
to
they
move
do.
much. Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, they're looking for travel home. They just don't
Mm.
realise. And I go, yeah, I'll take you home to the
Mhm.
rabbit
Get
hole.
into my sack.
You're home for the next week.
Yes. Well, we are alone. I mean, but I wanted this time alone, Lise, because I want to present you with a case.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
The way
Okay.
you said that, then I thought I was going to get like
Did it?
told off for something.
Oh
Yeah, I thought you
no!
were going to
Like
go. I
publicly
needed
told.
this. No, I needed this time alone with you. I've got a bone to pick.
I'm very disappointed in you. That's the name.
Very
Not
disappointed.
that
No,
I'm mad.
or maybe
I'm,
you were going to go into like, Lisa, I've been looking at the rabbit hole. I've been looking at the stats, and
nobody likes
you're
you.
the problem.
Yeah.
You're the problem, mate. The episodes with me alone have done brilliantly. We're doing a public breakup.
We're doing a public
What could you
podcast
call it? A
breakup.
pod, yeah, public
A pod up.
pod, yeah, pod up,
No,
public
that
pod
sounds
up,
positive though, doesn't it? A pod up.
pod.
Pod
We're
out.
get taking a
Pod break.
pod, pod break.
We're going to
We're
see
on a
other
pod break.
podcasts.
We are. Well, I'll just put myself out on all the bulletins like I'm podding, I'm free and easy. Invite me on your pod.
Podcast apps.
Yeah. Yeah.
You won't go on any podcast. You'll just do it for validation. Oh, I could have had that
Yeah, I would.
podcast.
Yeah, yeah, I would. Yeah, totally would. Yeah. And then make sure you know.
Oh,
Make sure you're tagged in. So like, yeah, just letting you know this is what you could have won, but instead you're off podding with others.
I'm
Anyway, that's not what we were doing, were we? That's just me being silly. You were going to present me
no.
with a case.
I
You were going to
know.
present me with a case that's actually one of my favorites.
Oh,
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to what you've got on this one. This is the one. I'm not going in completely blind to this
well,
one,
okie dokie
but
then.
I'm happy for your presentation.
Well, I mean, I mean, everyone and their dog has done this case as a podcast. I mean, let's be
Yeah,
honest. I
yeah,
kind of feel like it's a rite of passage
yeah,
that we have to do it,
yeah.
as in a rite of Dyatlov pass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
excellent.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
We've let's peak. That's it. We've
That's it.
peaked.
We're
We've
done
done
now.
it. That's it. Yeah,
Job
save it
done.
there.
Ta-ra.
Perfect
Mic
pod.
down.
Yeah.
It's not getting any better, so we're just gonna go.
Yes. Yes, the Dyatlov Pass
Yeah.
incident, isn't it
Yes.
called? The incident, which
Yeah.
is kind of a thing on of itself because it's an incident because is it an accident? Is it a murder? Is it a freak of nature? I don't know. Tell me all about it, Nikki.
Do you know what? I will. And what, I mean, I knew vaguely about it for a long time. And then I actually watched a documentary on Amazon Prime that really just opened things up. I don't know, have you watched anything on it recently?
Not recently, no.
Okay.
No. So I
So,
think I've just read about it actually.
yeah. Okay. I don't want to go into everything that every other podcast has done because that's pointless then for the listeners and viewers. So I'm gonna just kind of give a very vague, rundown as to what happened, just
Yeah.
in case for
Let's give
some
them an
reason.
overview in case they haven't done it. And then
Yeah,
if
they're
you want a more detailed breakdown of everything that happened, then there are plenty of places to get that.
yeah, you can Google it
Yeah.
or other search engines are available. So just the in a nutshell, you've got it's in the 1950s and you've got some hikers, Russian hikers, quite young, in their 20s, that are going out and they were experienced hikers. I think this is what made it more interesting. They
Mm.
kind of knew what they were doing. And I don't know why in the 1950s in Russia they used to do it for fun, but they used to go out in the cold and just hike and kind of be in nature and what have you.
Well, I mean, it's not just the 1950s. People are still
I
doing that.
guess.
I have stumbled across watching like base camp videos of Everest because it was like season. It was the season to climb Everest, like the best time of year or whatever to try and do it and survive. And now my social media is kind of filled with all the bodies on
Oh
Everest
no,
of all those really. There's loads of body. Yeah, did you not know that? There's
no.
loads of, but there's a body literally from this season that's like on the final precipice of the pathway
Oh,
going
what?
up. There's bodies on Everest that they don't even know who they are. There's one they says they've got a very strong suspicion of who he was, but there's one that they just call Green Boots, and he's basically used as like a way sign to, this is the way to the
No.
summit.
Oh, that's awful. Oh
Yeah,
my
there's loads.
God.
When they talk about the rubbish and debris on Everest, part of that is human remains that they
No.
can't get them down. They passed because of the altitude and the extreme conditions, and maybe they didn't have what they needed with them, or whatever, they fell or whatever happened. So to get them down is like a huge mission. Many people, if people go up there, they kind of have that. That might happen to you
Is it like an
if you try to
unspoken
climb.
agreement that if I die on the mountain, I stay on the mountain kind of thing?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
There is, isn't it? The guy from Made in Chelsea? Is it Made in Chelsea?
He's
I'm
green
sure.
boots?
No, his brother, it's not Green Boots, but his brother was lost on Everest. And he went
No.
he went to Everest and talked with the Sherpas. I think he went to base camp. He didn't go any further than that because unless you are even an experienced hiker, just getting to base camp would be enough, wouldn't it? But yeah, but his brother was lost on there somewhere. They did loads of work to try and find him and they couldn't find him. So there's people
Oh,
lost. There's
jeez.
also somebody called Sleeping Beauty, and maybe I'll present that to you. Maybe I'll present what happened to her to you one day so that you can,
Well,
like, her and her
but you
husband would have.
already know it. You could do it now.
To tell you now? No, well, I can't remember her name now. I'd have to kind of look up the details to find her name. I only know them by their little, by their green boots, Sleeping Beauty. But she was climbing with her husband. I think it was the 80s, maybe. And I think it might even be 90s, actually. I don't think it was that long ago. And she started to struggle and had to like sit down, and basically that's it. If you sit down on your way up to the summit on Everest, that's it. You're not going to get back up again because it's the altitude and the lack of oxygen, and you've started. So I think her husband was with her, and he went to go and get oxygen. So he left her, and he went down the mountain to get her some oxygen, and then he went back up to try and go and find her. And then I think he perished as well on his way back up. But they'd summited, they'd been to the top, and they were on their way back down. And I think they call her Sleeping Beauty because she's literally just laying there like she's asleep. Most of them, they are where they pass, so they're just on the mountain.
Hang on. Have we just stumbled upon the perfect murder though? Because if you take someone up
Mm,
Everest and kill them and then just leave their body and
yeah,
no one's
in the
can
middle of nowhere.
and they've only got your say so that something happened to them, that they perhaps had something wrong. They can't test the body.
Well, if they get it down, some they get down, they can get them down, but they don't like basically Sherpas are these amazing people who can climb the mountain. There's plenty of Sherpas that have lost their way, but they get paid to help people and carry oxygen. Often people don't carry their own oxygen. They get Sherpas to bring them up, and Sherpas will go up the mountain and try and bring them down. I think it costs a lot of money to climb Everest. Like you have to pay the fee to be able to go up and do it, and you've got to pay for your Sherpas and stuff like that. So it would be the perfect crime for, I think, a very elite group of people who knew that they could summit it and successfully come back down without dying in the process.
But
And
those
have the money to pay to be able to do it and to pay the Sherpas and to not, they might have to pay off their Sherpas
but
or
those are the
even bump
people
off
with
their
the
Sherpas.
biggest motives to do it. Because
The people with the
if
biggest
you're
money.
rich, yeah, if you're rich and
Uh,
you don't want to divorce your wife slash husband for whatever reason, you just want to keep all your
Since you're
money.
getting rid of me, mate, do you fancy a trip
I,
up Everest? To be honest, I don't think we need to do
I
Everest.
can't
Is there a
even get on the
is
plane, mate.
is
I'm
there
not
a
going up
local
a
big
mountain.
hill? Do you know what this year, 2025, and I've forgotten his name as well. I'm really rubbish for names, but we will appreciate the guy's achievement. He started from the UK and he has like done the biggest triathlon ever. So he like swam across the channel or whatever, wherever he needs to get to. He swam, then he biked, and then he ran from the UK up to the summit of Everest. That was the end of his trip.
That sounds like showing off to me.
That's like a lot of work,
That's a
doesn't
lot of
it?
work. I hope he
Yeah.
raised a goodly amount of money doing that.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, who's raised it? And you've got to have a goodly amount of money to go and do that. I think it took him it's got to take him a couple of years, I think. But yeah, he was at base. I think that's why it ended up on my feed. There's a guy who like talks you through what's going on. He tells you about the
Mm.
conditions and stuff. And I basically went down a bit of an Everest rabbit hole. And now, yeah, I see a fair few. So going back to the Dyatlov Pass, it wasn't just in 1950s Russia that people would, for fun, go and climb mountains.
Yeah, they kind of
I tried to
seemed.
climb Snowdon once, and I got to the top, but I moaned a lot, and I wish I'd got the train.
There's a train.
There's a train. Yeah, and I think we walked up. I
I
went, "We'll
wish I'd
walk
took the
up,
lift.
and we'll get the train down." Don't know why I decided to do it that way. We'll walk up, we'll get the train down, and then by the time we got to the top, we'd missed the last train, and I whinged. I was a whinge. I often say to my children, if my children whinge, I go, I've got to give you the whinge award. Well, I am trying let basically passing on parts of my mantle because that day I was the biggest whinger known. So, God, imagine if I was on Everest. They'd be passing me. I'd be the way. That's whinge woman. she
Whinge
she
woman.
she passed before she even got to base camp. Everyone gets to walk past her, buddy.
There's your husband going, "Ooh."
Yeah, anyway, that was a strange little weird warren we wandered
But
off into there.
that's what we do here.
That's what we do.
We go down rabbit holes and then we never come back
Welcome to
out.
ADHD.
See, podcasts, the ADHD network.
Yes.
So, Dyatlov Pass,
Indeed.
1950s Russia.
I kind of want to start jumping in with something else just to distract us again. No, that Love Pass.
Okay.
1950.
Oh, was it
Oh.
late 50s? I don't have the date. I'm not particularly prepared, to be honest,
Oh.
but I knew it was 1950s. That was as
This
far as
is
I went.
so well organized.
Um, so,
I shall start a new chat and find out. Yes. Anyway, you keep going.
okay. So you've got these hikers. I think there's 10 of them to begin with, and they all know each other. They're all young, they're all students. They're all getting some kind of qualification for hiking. I'm not sure what that was entailing, but they all
They're Duke of Edinburgh.
yeah, kind of.
Is it their gold Duke of Edinburgh?
Duke of Rasputin.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh.
but they all seemed so nice, and it just kind of there was certain evidence found. It was kind of like a found footage horror, to be honest. There was photos found of them in a camera, and they found their journals, and people mentioned seeing them like at the trading post before they left, and they just seemed like genuinely lovely people, and they all got on so well, and it just, the whole thing was very odd. So they're all experienced hikers, and then one
And
of the
it's
10,
1959 to set
59,
the
so late
scene.
50s, so I did get that
You
right.
were correct, yeah.
So there's 10 of them, but one of them gets a bit ill and he doesn't want to go. So he stays at the trading post, and
Good for him.
which was saving grace.
Hmm.
And he is replaced by a stranger who's older than the students. I think this guy's in his late 30s, and he's an ex-soldier,
So
and
old.
hmm?
So
No, well,
old.
he's not too
Well
old.
past it,
No,
yeah.
he's not.
But he's older than them.
He's older than them, and
Yeah.
he's an unusual addition to the group because nobody knows him. He's trying to work towards some kind of award, and he needs another hike, and he joins their group. But he seems to,
He's doing a scouting badge.
yes,
One of the oldest scouts
his urban
in
legend
the
scouting
area. Yeah,
badge.
yeah, yeah.
So he joins the group and treks up with them, and they don't come back down. And a
I
rescue
think they
group.
they they do, but not in one
Well, no,
piece.
they go missing. They don't come back. And there
Mm. Oh
is,
yeah.
the rescuers are called, and the rescuers go out, and that's when they start finding stuff. And eventually they find their camp with the tents, and then they start finding bodies. And the bodies are,
Mm.
see, this is where real conspiracy theories kick in,
Mm.
and I
Yeah,
start to kind of
yeah.
doubt what the findings were in the end because there's really no. I mean, I'm surprised you know about this case, Lisa, because you don't like something that isn't solved. You want an
Yeah,
answer, and
that's
there's no real
true.
answer here.
Yeah. And
But
well, I kind of think it might be like the opposite for me, whereas this is the ultimate unsolved because it's just so bizarre. And there is no, like with the unsolved, sometimes there's like a pretty strong suspicion, inclination towards something, and I just want it confirmed. But there's so many bizarre things that this could be
there
that I
is,
think that's why it intrigues me.
and I think going through the theories is perhaps what I want to do. So you've
Or
got,
should I give you, I've got a timeline.
oh, go
Should I
on,
give us a brief little timeline of
yeah,
events? Yeah.
yeah,
So
let's hear it.
in January 23rd, 1959, the group departs by train. One hiker is Yuri Yudin turns back due to illness. He would be the only survivor.
There was a lot of
It
Yuris, though,
was
wasn't there?
there was well, it was
They
actually
they
so
were Yuri heavy.
it's called the Dyatlov Pass because the leader of the group was called Igor Dyatlov, and they were in the Ural Mountains of Soviet Russia. On February 1st, the group set up camp on the slopes of Kholat Sakul. Oh, let's isolate the whole of Russia. Sorry, guys. There's more people who are just isolated. There's some good ones left. And then on February 2nd, in the middle of the night, tragedy strikes and all nine perish. And it's not until you said they're missing February 22nd is when the rescue teams discover the abandoned tent, badly damaged and cut open from the inside. And what I love about this one is you can go and see all the photos because you can go and see not only the photos that the rescuers took when they got there, but also the photos that they took on the camera that they
Mm.
found.
And they had their
So
journals, and it was just, like I said, like a whole found footage
yeah,
horror film.
yes.
Mm.
And do you want the cause of death and the injuries? I think
Well,
that helps before we go into theories.
see, yes, however, there's a lot
Because
of
I've got theories at the bottom here.
there's a lot of misinformation about the
Oh,
injuries,
okay.
so it
You
depends on
correct
what
me
you've got.
then. You correct. This is a little test for AI.
Okay.
Six died of hypothermia.
No, they didn't.
Oh, three had major physical trauma, including crushed ribs.
Yes, they did.
One body had both sides of the chest broken,
Hmm.
a fractured skull. One woman, Ludmila Dubinina, a brilliant name, had her tongue and eyes missing, which is so
Yes.
weird.
And
And
someone had their eyebrows
notably,
missing as well.
Notably, no external wounds or signs of struggle, but injuries likened to a car crash. So, like, you've got crushed ribs on both sides, but the outside of your body doesn't have any like scratches or scrapes on it.
Yeah. So uh, it's
And some clothing had traces of radiation.
oh there's
Is that
a
true?
yes, but there's a
Mm.
really good answer to that,
Oh,
and
okay.
that came from the documentary.
Okay.
So this is what I found when I looked into it. So there was a lot of forensics at the time, but new forensic experts have gone over the information. And yes, they said six died of hypothermia, but they all had extra injuries, and the
Yeah.
hypothermia was just put down as a coverall.
Okay.
So one
Well,
of
because the
them,
conditions were really bad, weren't they? Like
the
it was
conditions were,
minus
yeah, well below
25
freezing.
or something ridiculous like
Yeah,
that. And they had poor visibility and wind. And yeah,
and
it
a
wasn't.
couple of bodies were found in a stream as well, which obviously
Oh,
wouldn't have particularly helped. But one of
yeah.
them had chewed off the back of their own hand. There was abrasions on their hands, as in defensive wounds, and
Hmm.
like fighting wounds. Like the men had fighting wounds on their fists, like they'd been punching
Uh,
something. One of them had missing skin. There was defensive wounds, skull fractures, eyeballs missing, eyebrows missing, and the rib
I mean,
fractures.
like just the eyebrow itself or the skin behind it.
The eyebrow itself, like the
Okay.
whole eyebrow had been ripped off. Missing
Wolf.
tongues, broken bones, bones crushed, but lots of skin exposed, which wouldn't have
Hmm.
happened with hypothermia. And
Yeah.
also, these guys were, ex like we said, they're experienced hikers, and most of them were found in different arrays of undress.
Yeah. They were like
You
running
know,
around in their pants in a
yeah,
minus
if you knew what you
25
were doing,
environment.
no matter what was happening, you would get dressed when you left that tent because you
But isn't that a hypothermia thing
that you
that
think you're
you
hot.
start to think, yeah, you're hot, so you
It can be,
um
however, they'd have to have the hypothermia to begin with to get undressed, and they
mm.
hadn't been dressed. They'd like
So the
burst
clothes were
through
left
their
in the
tents.
tent.
Yeah, yeah. So,
And they burst through their tents from the inside out, like cut their way out.
well,
So it's
that
not like they obviously they left in a hurry. They didn't need to like, oh, let's unzip.
well, they didn't need to do that. However, there's a bone of contention there because some experts have looked at the tents and it actually looks like they were ripped from the outside because the depending
Oh,
on the way the material goes, it's like breaking a window. If you break a window from the outside in, then the glass is on the inside. If
yeah,
it and
yeah,
the fabric was on towards the inside, which kind of more looked like
yeah.
now,
But
you
it's
know,
not
with
gonna
newer
no. But wasn't it
forensics.
under quite a lot of snow? I could see that being a useful observation, like in the moment that it happens, but not like looking at a tent later on. What's that? You know, they've gone out in
Again,
early January and they're not found until the end of February.
and this is
So,
new experts like today
yeah,
looking at it. So
okay.
it's hard to say. However, what I would say is that
You'd want to look at the fibers, like the little bits of
yeah, and
fiber
a
would
lot of them
maybe
were
be
going
facing in.
in the ways. So like if you broke a window from the
Hmm.
outside, the glass would be on the inside of the
It's
house.
just a bit hard to tell on a tent,
It is, but no matter
isn't it?
which way you go, it's suspicious because a
Mm.
knife, they've got an opening on the tent.
Well,
Why do
yeah,
they need to
either
knife it
or.
either way?
You don't need to break into a tent with a knife, do you?
No.
Unless maybe, when sometimes when I used to go camping, I think my first festival I went to, I got one of the little tiny little padlocks that you get from,
Like it's gonna
that you
help.
used to get on like a little diary when you were a kid, a little
Yeah.
lockable diary. And I put one of those through when I was asleep at night so that they
I
couldn't
I
get in
I
my
don't
tent.
think
So maybe that was
any
why
of them
they
had
slashed it.
no, I don't think any of them had tiny
Someone took
padlocks.
their little padlock off their little My Little Pony diary and put it on. No.
Well, the no. The worst thing, one of the more intriguing things as well was part of the rescue party was made up of their family, actual rescuers, like people that
Mm.
do it for a living, and also a local tribe called the Mansi. And the
Okay.
Mansi were expert trackers. And when they looked at the grounds, they didn't find any tracks other than the people.
Okay.
So
Again, time has passed, but they're expert trackers.
at the time, now at the time and later on when it was reinvestigated, the government said it was an avalanche that did it.
Yeah, I've heard this
However,
theory.
there were photos of the camp, and right in front of the tents were the ski poles, like shoved down. Now, if there'd been an avalanche over the tents, those ski poles would not have been there when the
But the
rescuers
fact that
arrived.
tent's still standing
The tent,
on
again,
its own.
wouldn't be standing, and there
Yeah,
would
it
have
like
been
it wasn't. I
evidence.
remember seeing the picture. You can go and have a look at the picture, viewers and listeners, and see if you think because an avalanche that's going to do that damage to them is going to like take all of that out. That would be gone.
And also, in terms of like the rescuers and everybody there, none of them found any evidence of an avalanche of extra
Mm.
snow. But also, in terms of deaths, it wouldn't cause those injuries or those deaths. If you die in an avalanche, you die of suffocation because the
The
snow is
only,
on
yeah, the
you.
only one I could get is maybe the ribs. Like they got stuck somewhere and all the snow went whoop around their body.
But
Like,
even
whoop.
that wouldn't happen. You die from
No,
suffocation in an
no, it's like a
avalanche.
comedy
There's
version
yeah,
of it's like when
yeah,
you'd seen a cartoon. Yeah,
yeah. It's
not like a
we're
real
not in
death.
Tom and Jerry territory.
Yeah. We are in my head because that's where I live most of my
Okay,
days. But yeah, yeah, in
that's a nice
reality,
place
no.
to live.
Hmm.
So yeah, so that was so that it to me that there's a so let's go down the theories, okay, before I start like
Hmm.
spouting my theory.
See what mine is. Oh,
Okay.
slab. So mine says slab avalanche theory in
Yes, that was
particular.
the
Is that
newest
where you're
theory.
going? Yeah, okay.
Still wouldn't have caused those injuries and
Well,
also
what
would have
is,
destroyed the camp.
should we let them know what a slab is like
It's
in comparison to a normal
yeah,
avalanche? So a delayed snow slab, compact snow layer may have hit the tent. So that went down. That caused panic and forced the group to escape into the night. It explains the trauma and the tent being cut open from the inside. So I'm assuming it's not as much snow, so there's a potential that it could have done the level of damage that we see.
but there would have been evidence on the tents. If they had to burst out of a tent, there would have been evidence of something going wrong with that tent. Either there was snow on it or an ice slab or whatever
It
it
isn't
was.
it isn't standing the tent fully, is it? When they've the in the pictures, it's like it is fallen over, but it's
But it's
not
not
like I was if I was
under
thinking
snow.
avalanche down a mountain, I'm thinking like full on it would be yeah, it'd be covered. It wouldn't
And
unless it was covered and then it melted.
and the poles would have been buried
Yes, yes, they
and
wouldn't
they
still
were
be
still
standing.
standing.
Yeah.
And like I said, all the people there said there was no evidence of avalanche. None at all.
Hmm.
So here are the theories.
But there might have been
Believe
evidence
them.
of a slab.
There might have been a slab. We don't know.
There might have been just a little slab of snow came down.
So one of the theories was all around the new member of the group, this ex-soldier. And there was a lot of talk about him being ex-KGB, that he was actually trying to make it to some kind of drop, and then the kids kind of got in the way. And this new documentary kind of, well, it kind of touches on it. But I listened to a podcast. I listened to a lot of podcasts about this. And one of the things about this ex-soldier was that his body was exhumed later on, like to test DNA, and his DNA didn't match.
Oh, so he replaced himself.
Maybe. Or simple. I mean,
So
Occam's
maybe
razor.
Yuri didn't get away.
Well, Occam's razor is the
Yuri
simplest
wasn't the
answer.
only survivor. Maybe Yuri was him, and he'd done a little swifty swapsy and just made it look like they did a little swipsy swapsy in the pub. Made him
Maybe.
poorly,
Made him
and
poorly
then
and
took
then
him and
killed him and then
replaced him.
but then they'd have tested
Mm.
his DNA. I mean, they were testing against family members. So
Mm.
Occam's razor simplest answer is he was perhaps not a member of that family and perhaps didn't know. Maybe he was
Mm.
adopted, or that there could be other, or it
Mm.
got, maybe it wasn't a correct test. Well, we don't have the information.
Mm.
We don't know. But that was one of the things. And then the other one was that there was light.
Why didn't he? Just going back to that one, why would he need to go with them if they're going to get in the way?
Perhaps he
Why would
needed help
he?
getting up the mountain.
Okay, they were
'Cause,
experienced climbers, so he
yeah,
was looking for.
for
But
guides.
then, why don't you just come up with a drop-off point that isn't up the mountain somewhere? And
To be
also,
honest, I don't believe that one anyway.
how do you overcome nine other people?
Well, because you're meeting someone. There's going to be a group of
So
soldiers
they
up
come and
there,
help.
and they
Okay.
do it. But then there was no tracks, was there?
Mm,
There was no tracks of anybody else.
yeah.
So that one I'm not particularly on board with. The other one that's a
Hmm.
little bit out there is there was a lot of lights in the sky. Even the Mansi tribe people said that they'd seen lights in the sky quite recently. And so there
Mm,
was the alien theory, and there was trees that were burnt at the top
mm.
around. I'm not keen on that one
So the
either.
ship came down, hovered over the
It it
trees, the
it
top of the
parked on them
trees. Yeah.
to cause those wounds, and the aliens would have been like, "Oh, my bad.
Oh, yeah. Whoops,
Oops,
sorry.
let me just reverse
And
that."
now, and that's why they've not come back since, because they're a bit
Yeah,
embarrassed that they
because
made
they
a bit of a
thought, "Oops,
mistake. They're like,
oops."
whoops, best let the humans get over that one. They're
Which the
listening in
hikers,
right now and they're like,
yeah,
oh, not another podcast. Are
not
you not going to ever let
again.
it go so
No.
that we can come down again?
Okay, the next theory is perhaps to me a little bit more believable. It's still not the one I hang my hat on. That there was
Okay.
another tribe, a nomadic tribe like the Mansi, but
Mm,
not as peaceful. And the area that they were on was sacred ground for the Mansi and for other tribes. Now the Mansi were
yeah,
incredibly peaceful. They all seemed like incredibly, for an indigenous tribe that had been treated like crap by the
probably. Yeah, yeah,
government.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
These ones, the nomadic tribe, were not particularly friendly, and
Hmm.
perhaps they caught up with them, knew how to cover their tracks, and just
Yeah, yeah, it's their land. So yeah,
yeah.
and maybe if the Mansi tribe that helped had an awareness and could see those tracks, but they kind of went, no, 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 there's no tracks.
I don't
Maybe
know.
they could
They
see
they
evidence, but they
they
thought, let's not grass up our buds.
they weren't buds with this other tribe by any
Well,
stretch.
but they still need to live within the same space. Well, whose side you're going to fall on? Your next door neighbors, or the
Well,
random uptown guy that you don't know that you're
technically the
likely to never see
Russians
again.
technically the Russians were their neighbors, and they certainly didn't like this other
All
tribe
right,
at
okay.
all.
There's your
So
big
I think
house
they'd have
or
said
your little guys who live next door. I think you'd go
that
with you.
maybe I don't know. I mean, they volunteered a lot of the information, so I don't think they were
Mm,
hiding anything per se. But to me, the missing bits like the tongues and the eyeballs and that sound like trophies.
mm.
So
Why just
maybe
her?
there was another one with the eyeballs missing and the eyebrows missing and,
Okay.
and things like that. And yeah,
What color were those eyes?
I don't know.
Yeah, well,
you
that's the kind of
you think
detail we
that they were
need.
blue or
Did they
something,
just
and that's
take the
why
blue
they
eyes? And they were
maybe.
like, "Ooh, yeah, blue eyes. That's nice." Or
Hmm,
they needed it for particular something they were making in particular. They wanted the blue eyes.
maybe. So the next one includes
Hmm.
your radiation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So there was a theory that these hikers stumbled into some army weapons testing, and that's how they got the radiation. Now, the the actual answer to the radiation is way simpler and just
Uh
takes the radiation off the board for me.
yeah.
So one of the guys, one of the younger guys, actually worked at a nuclear plant that had a bit of a meltdown a couple of weeks before, and the woman,
Did you really? Why did they agree to go with him? They were like, has
well,
your workplace just imploded, mate?
they don't
Nah, you
know these
come
things.
up
They
the
perhaps
mountain with
weren't
us.
told about what radiation did back then.
Yeah, I
That
suppose they didn't know.
the
Yeah,
woman
they've
that
heard
had
of Chernobyl yet, have they?
the woman that had the radiation on her was actually wearing his jumper.
Oh, okay. So,
So
yeah,
that to me explains it. That he worked at this
yeah.
place. It had a little bit of a whoopsie moment. He got some radiation on him. Maybe that particular jumper got some radiation. He lent
Nuclear
it to her to keep
breakdown.
her warm,
Yeah.
and there we go. And that to me kind of explains everything.
Okay. Okay.
Now, the theory that I do actually put
Mm.
some faith
Hmm.
in, and that I have elaborated on myself,
Ooh.
just for the
There you
sake of
go. There you go, viewers. You can't get this. You can't get this on any other podcast.
no, and I don't have really any evidence to back it up. So
There you
enjoy.
go, viewers and listeners. You don't get that on any other podcast.
No, this is just my personal view, and
Hmm.
again from my devious author mind.
Hmm.
So one of the theories is about like killer sounds. Have you
Mm-hmm.
seen this one?
Oh, yes, I have. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
when the
Is it
wind
called infrared sound?
infrasound, yeah,
Infrasound.
when
Okay.
when the wind whistles just right against certain trees and mountains, it can create a sound that causes, and this is scientific, this happens
Mm,
and happens
mm.
on smaller scales as well, I've noticed, but it can cause distress and panic and all sorts of things. And it would also explain the singeing of the trees because it can do that too.
Oh,
And
sound
perhaps,
can singe.
yeah, and the lights in the
Don't underestimate
sky
your sound.
the
Hmm.
lights in the sky could have been like aurora borealis that would have accompanied those kind of weather conditions. So to me, this explanation rings true. So I think the sound kicked off, and I think the soldier of the group, perhaps with a touch of PTSD from being in the wars, had a bit of a flashback and started attacking and killing
Hmm.
the other hikers. And
Hmm.
that's why there's defensive runes and that's why there's trophies taken that as someone with PTSD from a war. I mean, if you look at like Vietnam, there were soldiers that had like necklaces full of ears and things like that. And then at the end, he just kind of sat down and perished. Or the army got
Okay.
there and was like, oh, look at what he's done. We're going to get done for this. And swapped him out and maybe did that if you want
Covered
to
it up.
push the
Yeah.
envelope just a bit more. But for me, I think that explains just about every piece of evidence for me. And
Then where are the eyes and the tongues and stuff? Surely they're in his pockets.
maybe he ate them.
Ew.
Who knows?
Well, then,
Or
but they
whoever
they check
cleaned
in
up the
an
scene.
autopsy. They would check the contents of his stomach.
Would they?
Yeah, because you want to know that they haven't ingested. They haven't just gone, hey, got a really good bag of mushies. Let's go up the mountain and take them
Yeah, but
because
would
that
they
is
have been
also a
able to
plausible.
tell? Yeah, but he did like shoot the I don't ugh. Anyway, you know,
They can pull out bog bodies. They can
maybe they
pull bog bodies out,
maybe
can't
he
they? And tell
buried
us what
them.
they had as their final meal before they were sacrificed
Maybe
and chucked in the bog.
maybe he buried them to
And by
keep for
bog, I
later
don't
or
mean
something.
toilet British people. I
No.
mean, I mean, okay. But yeah,
But to me, it
yeah.
explains the injuries, it explains it explains everything basically for me. And I just
It's
think,
got some weight, hasn't it? Because the vibrations from sound, I think, can have a very strong impact on us
mm.
more than perhaps we realize. So, vibrations in terms of the impact on vibrations on your body. That's why people are really into sound baths, and there are such a thing as like sound related therapy that is about the frequency and the vibrations that come from the sound.
And it's well known that you can have certain sounds in horror films, like music and
Mm,
pitches,
mm,
that create tension on a
yeah.
smaller scale. So I could definitely hang my hat on that one and say I think that could be, for me, it explains all
Yeah.
the evidence. It explains the knife through
Yeah.
the tent. If he went nuts and had this flashback to, I think was it the Korean War? Would have been around that time that perhaps he would have served in. And, and he just flipped out and then perhaps realized what he did at the end and just kind of sat down with his head in his hands and just let the nature take him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they're not going to be undoing their little padlock to get out if he's kicking off at the other end of the tent. Because that's the thing that always got me. Is there only one tent? Were they all in that one tent?
No, I think there was a couple of tents.
Okay. Okay. Were they all slashed open from the inside?
I don't know. I'd
Hmm.
have to have a look at that. But I
Mm-hmm.
can't imagine. I would think perhaps they were, but then there with the controversy of were they slashed open from the in or the
Mm.
out?
Mm. Yeah, I suppose the thing still for me is does one crazy guy still manage to overcome nine
Yeah,
people?
he's a soldier. He's got skills they don't have. He's older, he's stronger, and who knows what he was doing, or how stealthy he perhaps could have been as well in terms of like killing people.
If they were running around, so you think
They
they
were
were
running
running
around,
around in the
and
woods and
but
he's
of
chasing
course
them.
they're all got the sound in them as well.
Okay.
So perhaps they weren't thinking 100% straight. If they were
Yeah.
panicking,
Where were they found? Was anyone found like at the
no, I don't. I
tents?
don't think so. There was a couple that were found that just looked like they were just together. Like there was
Mm,
two guys that had literally just sat down together and died. And then there
mm,
was a couple, I think three in the stream with their faces in the stream.
hmm.
And then there was one woman and man together. But I don't know. I'd have to know more about the bodies and things. But
Yeah, yeah. Because I'm just wondering if, like, say that theory hangs true, he's got a sound, he's flipped out. I think the first thing he'd do is kind of you'd have a body there, I think, to get them all to run. Because initially, if somebody just flipped out and was kicking off or being violent or whatever, you would try to succumb him. You wouldn't like all turn and run off into they're experienced hikers. They know that out there in their underpants is death,
yeah.
don't they? They're going to know that that's the case. So they're going to try and subdue, if he's kicked off in the tent, they're going to try and subdue him at the tent. I think if they're experienced, somebody's going to have had that kind of thought to kind of stay near the tent. So that makes me feel like there should be a body at the tent, like, he did straight away, and then that's what made everybody else run, because that is going to be so bizarre that you are all going to run.
But bearing in mind they'd have all been affected by the sound. So they're
Yeah.
perhaps not in their right minds either.
So they all just
But
run
just
off.
not as violent as perhaps an ex-soldier. I'm not saying all
Yeah.
ex-soldiers are violent or
So
anything, but we,
yeah, and
we
I
don't know
suppose
what
in
that man had
my
been through.
version, then I was thinking he's done it all at the same. He's done all of them, but actually there's some just sitting, so they've just freaked out, run off into the snow in their underpants,
And you know what
got
it's like.
taken out by a slab avalanche,
But
been
with
picked up by an alien,
picked up
been
by
chucked back
oh,
down.
I forgot the other theory that
Oh,
is just insane that they found a photo in one of the cameras that looked like um Bigfoot or
yeah,
Sasquatch or
yeah, 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 yeah.
the
I know the
abominable
Sasquatch
snowman
theory.
had
Yeah.
done it. And it was like, well, no, that just looks like one of the
That's
hikers
the
in the
one I'm
photo.
hanging my hat on.
You think you think
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
Scooby-Doo?
and in my version, he's the one from, is it it's one of the kids' films? Is it the Grinch, the newer version of the Grinch? One of the films they end up in, yeah, they end up in some sort of cave and they're sitting with him. He's like, "Oh yeah, dude, so do you want an ice pop?
Yeah.
I made another ice pop," and they all taste the same. It's him, and he was just walking around going, "Hey guys, you want an ice pop?" And they went, "Ah!" and ran off.
Well,
I mean,
I think
I
that's
get behind.
probably
There's things we don't know. There's parts of the ocean we've never explored. We
oh
don't know what's
man,
down
yeah.
there. There's mountains. There's deep underground places. We don't know where they go.
And again, it's scientifically
Who's
proven
to
that we don't
say?
see everything either. There's
Mm,
stuff that is beyond our scope of vision and hearing that could be
hmm.
existing right beside us that we've got no clue. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got no clues there. So, I mean, everything is possible, but for me, I think the sound, the killer sound that
Mm.
sets off because I'm
Sounds like
thinking
you could release an album.
killer sound.
Killer sound.
Is it an avalanche? No.
But could
So
it be a slab?
slab.
Slab.
But for me, the kind of the variables involved, really,
Mm,
he's top of there because he shouldn't have been in that group.
mm.
And so for me, it's like it's something to do with him, but and you
Gosh.
add something. It's like a chemical reaction. You add something together.
Don't ever, if you know Nikki, folks, don't ever try and like be a little add-on and go as an extra on her holiday because she will pin everything on you.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You were an extra. You weren't meant to be there, guys. So it's definitely you are my guy. You
yeah.
did it.
You fancy going up a mountain, mate?
I've already described what's going to happen if I try and climb up a mountain. Oh, look, there we see Whinge Woman. We're about 5 steps up the mountain.
So I can't
We've just passed the gate. You know, you climb over.
I can't even
About 3 steps up from
think
there. That's where
about
my body remains.
climbing mountains without thinking of the Simpsons episode, one of the earlier ones where Homer has the power bars. Do you remember? The Apple power bars. And he's like, I can do anything. It's like, I could
Yeah,
climb what was it, the Bighorn or something, little Bighorn, whatever they've got. And it was this
yeah,
massive mountain. And off he goes. And he finds a dead body, doesn't he? That's been up there
yeah.
for 50 years. And he rides it down like a sledge.
It's not well, there's that theory, isn't there? There is a Simpsons theory that they have predicted pretty much everything that has
They have.
happened.
They've predicted a lot, but then
They
again,
predicted a lot.
they've predicted a lot that hasn't come true. People tend to
Yeah, they've
kind of
also just, yeah, there's been a
home in on
lot
the
of the
stuff they got
symptoms
right.
generally. Yeah, yeah. There has just been a lot. But
Mm.
maybe, but also, I think by the time they were making Simpsons, there were definitely already bodies because they recently found a foot up Everest, and that foot is thought to be belong to a certain explorer from might even be like 1920s or something from what they were wearing. They've like been missing up there that whole time, and they found a foot,
It's
100 year
perfect
old
murder.
foot.
Perfect murder.
I don't think it needs to be a perfect murder. I think, if it's just if you've chosen to go up there and you know full well that, yes, yes, when you pass Green Boots, the dead body, and when you pass the Sleeping Beauty dead body, then you're on the path to the summit. And the thing, do you know as well, like in our minds, in my mind, when I climb Everest, which I'm never going to do, but when I do, in my head, I get there and I'm alone and I stick a little stake in the top of it and I go, yeah, I've done it. And I get some selfies and I walk back down. But actually, to summit at Everest, there's a blinking queue. They're all in a little line after each other, like literally queuing in what is known as the death zone,
No,
standing in a queue, and
that's
the
so
latest
British.
the latest body is just off this queue, like literally still on the ropes, just off this queue, and they're all just, and there's footage of them like queuing to get up this mountain to get up to summit. I mean, it'd be an amazing thing to, I did it,
Do
but
you know,
if you live to tell the tale,
it would be just my luck. I'd take my rich husband up to the top of Everest,
yeah,
kill him, be
yeah.
like, yeah, I've got all the money. And then there'd be like all these witnesses that I'd have to then hunt down.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, like
yeah.
like in I Know What You Did Last Summer. It'd be like, I know what you did
Round
up
the
Everest.
And then there'd be a whole new mystery called the Peacock Path, which would be you. The Peacock Path, which would be based on you. And was it infrared sound that sent her bonkers that she did this to her husband initially? I
No
could
one
be a
would know
witness on
that.
that documentary, couldn't I? They'd call me
I
in
would
as a
just,
witness.
what, you were
They
there for the
wouldn't need to
planning
because you did,
stage.
yeah. Well, they wouldn't need to. We're gonna publish this publicly. We're going to put this out to the public and tell them full well what we're planning. Well, I'm not planning it. Nikki is. It's not me. Um,
I'm just in the initial stages. Come on, give me a break.
yeah, yeah, but I mean, you also got to make sure that you've got your oxygen tank and everything else up there. You've got to pay
Well,
off your
I'd have
Sherpas.
his.
Oh,
I'd
you
have
could take
his.
his, yeah.
I would
It's how
seduce
much you can
the
carry
Sherpas.
though. Like I say, you've got Sherpas doing it for you.
Yeah, that's great.
You've
And that's
got
what they
people
did
who
for
are
Homer.
more.
Do you remember that they had him in the sleeping bag and was dragging him up the summit while he slept? So he thought he was doing it, but he wasn't. So that's what,
Oh,
I'd
they
have
are
a little
so on
hammock.
point, aren't they, with The
Yeah.
Simpsons? They are really on point. Well, then, yeah, yeah, I don't think. I mean, is there any other theories? Is there anything else that could possibly have? I mean, although one human crushing ribs on both sides of the body.
That to me just sounds like a bear hug, like somebody grabbing them. Because it was a woman that had the rib, so she'd have been slightly more delicate, not being, sexist or anything, but we are slightly more delicate than
Take
men.
that t-shirt off.
Yeah. You
Betrayed feminism.
want me to be naked on video.
Yeah, you don't get the female gaze now.
No.
Um, yeah, yeah. Gosh, that sounds awful. Or it could, I mean, do we know with a bit more modern technology, could we look and see, is it post-mortem? Could it be that the body was there and got moved and something else happened to her?
I think the whole
The slab,
post-mortems
the slab avalanche came and hit just her. Boonk.
on both sides
Like in
simultaneously. Like
cartoon fashion, yeah.
yeah. But I mean, the pictures of the photos of the bodies in the documentary were quite harrowing, to be honest, because they were all
Okay.
frozen in like weird positions and
Mm.
like they'd just been, like when you get a popsicle out the freezer that's been slightly defrosted when it went in and it's
The
all
one at the
squishy now.
back.
Yeah. And you think, well, it's still good. I'm
You're
still going to eat
comparing
it, but
these
it's hard to
people.
eat. It's kind of like that. And I
Falls
think
off the stick eventually, doesn't it? 'Cause there's
it
not
does.
even anymore.
You just got to push it into a bowl and eat it like that and eat it like ice cream. So I think it would have been really hard, especially with the technology they had back then, to really come up with much in terms of how something they could say what happened. But even then, they were putting deaths down as hypothermia that clearly were not hypothermic deaths.
There's got to be some sort of there's got to be someone out there who's dedicated their life to this.
There has.
There are
So,
scientists for everything.
well, there's a guy in Russia that was part of, he was very young. I think he was only like 13 or something. And he was part of the rescuers and he became obsessed with
Uh,
figuring this mystery out. And he has a
yeah.
museum in Russia dedicated
Oh.
to all the stuff. And
Oh.
obviously, like the tents and that, he would have had, and that's why people can still see it
Oh.
now and look into it. And he's got the
Entrepreneur.
diaries, yeah. But
Yeah, little
he's just
entrepreneur. He picked this up. He knew people were going to be obsessing over this in
Well, I
a
think
lot
he was just
in the
obsessed. I
future.
think he just
Mm.
wanted to know. It was obviously, and to me again, to to have someone so obsessed with finding out what happened, that's not an avalanche. That's not something that that happens not regularly, but that is nature doing its thing. No one cares about something that's
Oh, I
nature
don't
doing its
know.
thing. They
Sometimes I
care about
think
something that hasn't
nature
got an
just,
explanation.
sometimes I think nature's just cleaning up. Just
Well,
goes,
I
you
think
lot.
we've upset Mother Nature quite a lot, so I'm not
Yeah,
surprised.
yeah.
I'm
Don't
very
blame her.
shocked we haven't had a volcanic eruption at any point because we kind of deserve one, I think, by now.
You mean us in particular,
Well, no,
or
not us personally. I think we're doing all right, but
do
I
you mean
think
like the UK or volcanic? I mean, because there's lots of volcanic
there's
eruptions
volcanic eruptions everywhere.
happening
But you
all the
could have
time.
one if Yellowstone in America kicked off. That would be world ending
Well,
anyway.
yeah, well, to be fair, we're not talking volcanoes, but there's been plenty of great natural disasters like tsunamis, floods,
Mm.
lots of things happening. And they're very frequent actually, aren't they?
More frequent, I think,
So,
than we realize. But
mm,
also, there's to me, it's like it's one of the Stoic philosophies, isn't it? If you can't control it, we can't control nature. So, but we can only
mm.
control our reaction to it. So perhaps we just need to be kinder to each other and the planet.
Well, that's a nice point to finish on. I think we ought
Yeah,
to stop there because I mean we've turned people into melted popsicles that we just need to stick in a bowl and eat.
yeah,
We've brought back Sasquatch. We brought him to life. We said he definitely exists.
but
We've
he didn't
talked
do
about
this.
we've
He's
turned
he's
some poor soldier into an absolute no, maybe he came after and he just wanted to give her a cuddle, but he didn't realize his own strength.
what the abdominal snowman?
Yeah.
Abdominal,
Abdomen.
abominable. Abdom.
But you're
He's got
spot
some.
on because
He's got a six pack
he
under that
gives
fur.
he gives an abdominal hug
Maybe.
accordingly, a crushingly abdominal hug.
But I also must admit that a lot of it was put down to like animals eating certain parts. But
And
in
on the
those
skin.
temperatures, how many animals survive in those temperatures? Not many.
Did it? I think you'd also have to look at the again there because there'd be someone very clever who will look at the weather, who will probably be able to work out and predict exactly what the weather did
I don't know. They
and
can't
what the
predict the
temperature
weather
was.
while it's happening.
No, but what about Amelia Earhart? And they managed to work out the tides, didn't they? Where where they suspect her plane went down and there's like they were looking at the didn't they work it out from the tides and they worked back to what the tides would be and the timing of the messages and stuff like
Mm.
that to what they think might have happened.
So they just think her plane went down and she's lost to the sea.
Yeah, that she no, not that she was lost to sea, that she actually landed on an island somewhere and was trying to get back to her ship because they worked out the message, the timing between the messages and the tides. I
Mm.
think it was something like that. I'm sure it was something like that. That she, so the timings of her going in kind of coincided with when her ship was accessible, when her plane was accessible. So
Okay.
the water's up, it's too high, I can't get to it. And then when she next radios in again, but nobody picks it up, it would have been, so they worked out like the tides and where she might be. So if somebody can sit down and work that out, I think there's sort of predictable programs of things, isn't there, that they've developed that could potentially look at the weather, how much defrosting occurred, what that impact is on the human skin.
Yeah, I think that there's probably people that can work that out, but they need the information to begin with, and I don't think the Russian government have been very forthright
No,
with
because
everything
isn't
they
that
have.
we did we miss that one out? Like you dropped the military in it a couple of times
Mm.
in there, but isn't that a theory as well that they stumbled, or did we cover this one? I might have
Yeah, because
forgotten.
of the
Sorry, my brain.
radiation,
But
they
they
stumbled on
stumbled
some sort of
into
weapon.
some sort of
Yeah,
testing ground, yeah,
but
for
then
some sort of
again,
weapon.
I don't put a lot of faith in that because the Mansi would have known. You know, they were quite local to the region. They knew their land, and they knew what was
Mm.
going on, and that would have been the first thing that they said. Now, some of the
Well,
stuff that was
again, maybe they're getting paid off, you know.
well, some of the stuff that was said was
Mm.
redacted as well.
Oh.
Especially the lights in the sky stuff, which again could have been
Uh,
less alien and more weapon. I mean, I think a
weapon.
lot of things that are UFOs, because UFO really only stands for unidentified flying object, are perhaps more military based stuff that we just don't know about
Mm.
than are extraterrestrial or interterrestrial. I mean, this we're getting way down a warren here, but there,
Mm.
we only know about 5% of what's in the sea. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
95% of the sea. We don't have a single clue.
Well, I absolutely blew my daughter's mind when I said, well, all of those stars you can see in the sky, right? They're all like our sun. So she's just like
Mm,
learned about the solar system. So I said, all of those are like our sun. So she's like, so there could be a solar system around each of them. And I was like, well, yeah,
yeah.
there could be all sorts of things around each of them. We don't know.
See, I
So that
do.
kind of literally blew her mind, like of how big the universe is
Yeah,
and how
and
little we
how
know
long
about
does it
it.
go on for? Is it infinite? Is it gone into something?
Mm,
The thing is, I think the kind of the expansions of our own mind just won't allow us to
mm,
go too far on these kind of journeys of thought
yeah.
in terms of like, is it infinite or is it in something? Are we part of something bigger?
Mm,
What's
hmm.
going on here? We know nothing really. We
Jon
pretend we do.
Snow.
Yeah, Jon Snow.
You
Now we're
know
back to Dyatlov
nothing,
Pass.
Jon Snow. Yeah. That
Oh my
was
God, it
seamless.
was
That is
the
my
White
most
Walkers.
seamless transition I've ever done. It
It
was
was the White Walkers that killed
White
all the
Walkers.
hikers.
Yeah, yeah. Or just what are they called? The people that like live on the other side of the wall that Jon Snow goes and
Wildlings.
joins. The wildlings, yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Maybe it's just the
wildlings.
wildlings.
Didn't they have a giant? Was it a giant, do you reckon?
They did get a giant on side, didn't they? They had to go and
Yeah.
didn't have to go and convince him to join them. And then in the end, the White Walkers also got themselves a
It's
White
spoiler
Walker.
alert.
Oh yeah, sorry, I won't say that in case anyone's watching.
Spoilers.
I mean,
So
it's been
yeah.
a while.
Well, do
Yeah.
you know what, Lisa? I think we've done really well because we've turned that around to an actual book again,
We have,
which is
yeah.
really what the podcast is about. So I think we've done pretty well
Literature.
in just
Yeah.
discussing the whole Dyatlov Pass incident
Yeah.
that will now be called
And
the
we've come back to one of my area again, fantasy.
yeah.
I love those books.
Mhm. And the Peacock Perfect Murder.
Yeah, which is that's like every episode now, though, mate. Like
Is
you
it? I
always,
come up with a perfect murder.
yeah,
I want to kill a lot of people.
you get inspired by a murder every episode we record.
Yeah. Can't help it.
It's how your dark little mind
It
works.
is. It's what makes me the money.
What
Right.
makes you?
Well, allegedly. So,
I thought
viewers
that
and
was your day
listeners.
job.
No, not always.
Mm,
Viewers and
yes.
listeners, thank you for coming to the end with us. We haven't been killed by an avalanche or anything else yet.
Slabavanch.
A slab avalanche. Okay, or an avalab.
It's still not as good as what you started with. What was
What did
that?
I start with?
You go, we could do, oh, could we take a Dyatlov passage?
Oh yeah, that was good. Yeah, I'm funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, I should have just left it there. It went
we
downhill
should
from
have.
that point.
Most people have already hung up, have already gone by now. They've switched
Yeah,
off the
probably.
recording at this point. They've said everything interesting they're going to say. They're going to spend about another 20 minutes giggling at
And
themselves before they
arguing.
actually finally sign off.
Yeah,
Let's
which
get out of
happens.
here. It does indeed. So, thank you everybody for listening in. You can follow the Red Rabbit at Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We are on where else are we, Nikki?
YouTube.
We're on YouTube. Here
YouTube.
we are in the
Thumbs
flesh
up.
on YouTube. Yeah, give us a thumbs up and a like and subscribe and all of that sort of stuff. It doesn't cost a thing and we'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, you can continue the madness. Why wouldn't you want to
Hmm.
continue the madness? Everybody wants that. And we're
Well,
all
we're
going to
going to
be,
continue it anyway, so it's just whether you're on board or not.
yeah, we're all going to be either blown up or covered in
Taken
volcanic
out by a
ash
slab of
soon. So,
lunch.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it's better to make hay while the sun shines.
yeah. All right.
Well, thank you
Take care.
guys. We will
Bye,
see you soon.
guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.